In today's video, we're going to be doing a 2022 redraft. The focus of this video is ranking the players. I did try to match everyone up with teams that had needs at that position, but the priority is player comparison. Before we get into the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Also follow us on all of our social medias. You can find the links to those in the description below. So at the first pick, I've got the Jags going Garrett Wilson, led all rookies in receiving yards, and I think adding a true #1 receiver to this offense would really increase the ceiling. Garrett Wilson has proven he has a complete receiver skill set, route running, contested catches, yards after the catch, he does it all. So pretty easy decision at #1. And then at 2, I've got the Lions going with Sauce Gardner, probably the best rookie cornerback season that I've ever watched, and nothing about it was fluky. It's not like he just lucked into a bunch of interceptions. He hardly ever got beat, and he forced 20 incompletions last season, which ranked second among all cornerbacks. So Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner are pretty clearly the top 2 players from this class. And then at 3, I'm actually going to have the Texans take Tyler Smith. Originally went 24 to the Cowboys, and I just don't see any way he gets out of the top 5 in a redraft. He arguably had the most natural talent of any offensive lineman in this class, and the improvement that he showed in terms of technique from his final year in college to his rookie season is pretty incredible. So the Texans are going to take Tyler Smith, who can be their starting left guard and swing tackle in case of an injury. And then the Jets missed out on Sauce Gardner, so they're going to take left tackle Ike Ekwonu, another player with a ton of natural talent but kind of rough around the edges. But then his rookie season, he cleaned up a lot of his technique issues, way more consistent with his pass sets, and he was still a dominant run blocker. So when we look at the offensive tackles in this class, the 2 players that I would say had the highest ceiling actually had the best rookie seasons. So I think it's pretty easy to project them going forward. And then at 5, we've got the Giants. Originally, they took Kayvon Thibodeau. I would say he and Aiden Hutchinson had pretty similar rookie seasons, but I'm actually going to go with the other Ohio State receiver, Chris Olave, second leading rookie receiver. I think Garrett Wilson's a more dynamic playmaker, but Chris Olave is going to be a 1,000-yard receiver for the next decade as long as he stays healthy. And then at 6, I've got the Panthers taking the 3rd receiver off the board, Drake London. The Giants have their 2nd first-round pick, and like I said, Kayvon Thibodeau and Aiden Hutchinson had pretty similar rookie seasons in my opinion, so we're just going to go with Kayvon Thibodeau since that's who the Giants took originally. And then the Falcons at 8 miss out on Drake London, but they're going to take Aiden Hutchinson. 53 pressures and 11 sacks last season, and he impacts every aspect of the game. He drops back in coverage. He's a really good run defender. So Atlanta finally gets someone productive to play on the edge. And then at pick 9, I've got the Seahawks taking Tariq Woolen 4 rounds earlier than they did in real life, and there just aren't really any cornerbacks in the NFL with his size and movement skills. He's a converted receiver. His college tape wasn't very good, and I'd be surprised if the Seahawks even expected him to start year 1 when they drafted him, but he was able to hit the ground running with 10 pass breakups and 6 interceptions, so I don't see him getting out of the top 10 in a redraft. And then at 10, we've got the Jets, and we have the benefit of hindsight knowing that Zach Wilson isn't good, so I'm going to take Kenny Pickett. Incredible second half to his rookie year, and I do have some questions about his upside. I'm not sure I ever see him being a top 8 quarterback, but his play style, his accuracy down the sideline, and what he's able to do under pressure, I do see some shades of Joe Burrow when I watch Kenny Pickett on tape. At 11, I've got the Saints taking Charles Cross, really solid rookie season. I think he's shown that he can be a starting caliber left tackle at the minimum. And then at 12, we've got the Lions, and this was the first really difficult decision, but I'm going to stick with Jameson Williams. As you'll see with the rest of these picks, there's plenty of other receivers that could be in play here, but I still think Williams' upside puts him ahead of the other available players. And then at 13, I've got the Eagles going with a different Georgia defender, Trayvon Walker. Originally the first pick of the draft, but he falls to 13 here, which is probably where he would have gone if Trent Baalke wasn't in charge of an NFL team. He has all the natural talent and athletic traits that you would want, and I think his run defense gives him a high floor, but after 1 year, he still has a ways to go in terms of developing his pass rushing skill set. At 14, I've got the Ravens going with Derek Stingley Jr., up and down rookie season. He was actually PFF's 3rd lowest graded rookie corner, but we're starting to get to the point where you have to project these guys to put it all together, and I think Stingley showed enough as a rookie to make him a top 15 pick. And then at 15, I've got the Texans taking Kyle Hamilton, underrated rookie season, especially once Baltimore moved him into the slot. I will be interested to see if Hamilton develops into a more versatile defensive back or if he has to be used in one way to be successful. And then at 16, I've got the Commanders going George Pickens, one of the best contested catch receivers and one of the worst route runners in the NFL last year if you look at next gen stats tracking. And I still think there's a lot of untapped potential with George Pickens. If he can start creating separation on a more consistent basis, you're looking at a true top 5, top 10 receiver. And I'm not sure any of the receivers available have that upside. And then at 17, I've got the Chargers going Evan Neal, very disappointing rookie season, 52 pressures and 8 sacks allowed. His His lack of balance proved to be a major issue, but you look at Andrew Thomas on the other side, he had a rough rookie season and developed into an all-pro left tackle, and the potential's still there with Evan Neal, but that's pretty much all that we have to bet on. At 18, I've got the Titans sticking with Traylon Burks. Ideally, they could have a take back on the A.J. Brown trade, but I think when Burks was on the field, he showed enough to warrant this selection. He had the turf toe injury, and then he got knocked out with a concussion, but I was really impressed with his ability to beat press coverage, and he showed that physical contested catch ability. I just want to see him do a little more after the catch, which is one of his strengths in college. Next up, we got the Saints at 19. They got their Trevor Penning replacement with Charles Cross at 11, and instead of Chris Olave, they're going to take wide receiver Christian Watson. Might be a player where you have to overlook a few focus drops every season, but his speed translated to the NFL, and he's looking like one of the best big play threats from this class. At 20, I've got the Steelers taking the third cornerback off the board, Trent McDuffie. He missed the first 8 games with an injury, but he was so consistent once he got into the lineup. He didn't have a single game as a rookie with a PFF coverage grade lower than 60. And coming out of Washington, he had very little experience in press man, but he looked great in the Chiefs scheme, and this is pretty much a can't miss pick. And then at 21, I've got the Chiefs going right tackle Abraham Lucas. This is one of those picks that doesn't really fit in with the current roster construction, but let's just say they take Abraham Lucas and skip the whole left tackle, right tackle carousel that they did this offseason. And then at 22, the Packers are going to take Jahan Dotson, the final receiver that I have in the first round. Solid production last season, 523 yards, 7 touchdowns, but I think his upside is a lot lower than the receivers that went ahead of him. And then at 23, we've got the Bills. They took Kyer Elam in the real draft, but I'm going to go with another cornerback, Martin Emerson out of Mississippi State. One of the more underrated rookies from this class, 9 pass breakups, 75.1 PFF grade. He had a shutdown performance against Mike Evans. That's a good one to check out. And I think heading into next season, he's one of the better true press corners in the NFL, but the foot speed and short area quickness is kind of lacking. At 24, I've got the Cowboys taking Jordan Davis. Not really sure what to do with him. He didn't play a whole lot of snaps last season, and that was one of the concerns with him coming out of college, but he's still a unicorn on the defensive line and doesn't really fit with the Mozzie Smith pick, but I couldn't let him fall any further than this. And then at 25, I've got the Ravens again taking center Tyler Linderbaum. Really good rookie season. Far and away his biggest issue was picking up stunts, but he cleaned that up over the second half of the year. And I still don't think the scheme fit is great. I'd like to see him in an offense that runs more outside zone, but no reason to change up this pick for the Ravens. And then the Jets originally got Breece Hall at 36, but they're going to take him at 26 here in this redraft. And then at 27, I've got the Jags taking left tackle Trevor Penning. Only played 124 snaps last season, but just based off the athleticism and the pre-draft evaluation, I don't think he falls out of the first round. With the 28th pick, the Packers are going to take safety Kirby Joseph. I actually had a first round grade on him, and I think he lived up to that as a rookie. He just needs to become a much more secure tackler. The Lions gave up a lot of big plays last season where he was the last line of defense and he took a terrible tackling angle, but his range and playmaking ability I think will translate to any scheme. At 29, I've got the Patriots going with offensive lineman Zach Tom. I haven't looked at other redrafts, so I'm not sure if this is a player that people would take in the first round, but I was really high on him as a prospect and he played great as a rookie. I think he has 5 position versatility along the O-line and just rare movement skills and balance and pass protection. And then really difficult pick here at 30 for the Chiefs. I ended up going with Marcus Jones, but I actually think you could make an argument for Joshua Williams, who the Chiefs took in the 4th round, but I ended up going with Jones because of his ability as a returner. And then at 31, I've just got the Bengals taking Daxton Hill. They need a safety to replace Jesse Bates, and it seems like the plan was just for him to take a redshirt year, so the fact that he didn't really play as a rookie doesn't necessarily lower his stock in my opinion, and he was one of my favorite players in this class, my highest graded safety, so I can't keep him out of the first round. And then final pick at 32, the Vikings are going to take another safety, Jalen Petrie. Kind of similar rookie season to Kirby Joseph, 5 interceptions, 4 pass breakups, but he did give up 4 touchdowns and he had 36 missed tackles. The next highest among any defender was 28. So 2 safeties that have shown they can be playmakers, but they need to be a lot more reliable as far as not getting beat. So that's going to do it for the first round redraft. I had a handful of players that I want to give honorable mentions to. Kenneth Walker had a great season in Seattle. Sam Williams, edge rusher from Dallas, I think showed a lot of potential. Bernard Raymond started to put things together in the second half of last year for the Colts. I think Jamari Salyer for the Chargers is going to be a solid swing offensive lineman. And Braxton Jones, if he can just figure out how to anchor against a bull rush, I think he can be a top 15 tackle. And then Chigakonkwo, I think also deserves a mention. We'll see if he can be the focus of a team's offense, but as a supporting piece, move tight end, he was really efficient as a rookie. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, let me know in the comments any NFL draft picks that you'd like me to cover.